Some very interesting news happening in the world of pro wrestling. We got a couple different stories today, so make sure you guys watch this video in its entirety because you don't want to miss any details. My name is Zango. This is Destination Pro Wrestling, and of course, on this channel, what I do is bring you guys my opinions on the latest news and rumors happening in the world of pro wrestling. So whether that's WWE, AEW, Impact, New Japan, MLW, it doesn't really matter if it has something to do with pro wrestling. This is your destination for that. And also, if you guys didn't know, we do have an official Discord server. So if you guys want to join the Destination PW community, go ahead and check out the links in the description. And don't forget to subscribe. This way you can get notified on all of the latest content right here on Destination Pro Wrestling. Now, with that being said, we got some very, very interesting stuff. First, we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. It is now Friday, September 10th, 2021. 2 days later, we can officially tell you that AEW Dynamite did 1.5 million viewers. This is major news. If you don't know why, let me explain. WWE RAW has been floating around anywhere from 1.5 to 1.7, 1.8 million viewers. AEW Dynamite has caught up to WWE RAW, and according to a lot of people, on Twitter, if you use it, you guys should follow me, by the way. But if you don't, a lot of people on Twitter believe that AEW wouldn't be able to catch up to Monday Night Raw for at least another 6 to 8 months, maybe even another year. Brian Alvarez came out and said AEW Dynamite did 1.5 million viewers. Now, this does, in fact, include the debut episode with Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole. CM Punk was also there. So, as you can imagine, all three of these big names were on the show, and AEW continues to draw. Is this a thing that we need to worry about when it comes to WWE and WWE Raw? To be honest with you, my personal opinion, yes. I really do think so. I really think we're at a stage where AEW is doing so well, WWE Raw isn't. WWE plans to shake things up. They have a draft coming up. They have some plans to get this product turned around. But if I'm WWE, I would be scared. Whether or not you want to consider AEW legitimate competition, you have to at least acknowledge the fact that WWE Raw is now literally neck and neck with Dynamite. The real question here is whether or not Dynamite will ever move to Monday nights. I know Tony Khan in the past has said no because he doesn't want to compete with Monday Night Football. Realistically, there is one thing we got to look at in comparison from Mondays to Wednesdays. They do have a different level of competition. So just kind of keep that in mind. But at the end of the day, it is still very, very impressive that AEW continues to do some really big stuff on a week-to-week basis. The real question here is whether or not AEW Dynamite will do this consistently. So I do want to pay attention closely to this, especially as time goes on, because when it comes into the world of pro wrestling, just if we're being realistic, we've seen WWE also see some quick success and then the numbers start dropping. So there's a lot of different things that impact the viewership behavior, but the 1.5 million is not even the most impressive thing here. It's the fact that AEW is actually getting the younger audience more than WWE. The key demographic, 18 to 34, 18 to 49, whatever it may be, AEW is actually excelling at this. And I'm starting to get the impression that AEW is not just bringing back lapsed fans. I'm starting to get the impression that AEW is actually bringing back fans or bringing in new fans to the world of pro wrestling. Something that WWE has not been doing these last several years. So just food for thought, AEW is doing good. It doesn't mean this is the end for WWE. It just means that WWE has to do something different. It just means that they have to do something different. And whether or not they're going to, I guess it just really depends. But it's some very interesting stuff. Moving on to our next story of the day, we are going to be talking about Andrade El Idolo. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But if you guys don't remember Andrade, I don't blame you. AEW hasn't put him on TV regularly. And I don't know if this is part of a strategy for AEW. I certainly don't believe AEW is giving up on Andrade, mainly due to the fact that they've advertised the match. It was originally going to be on All Out, and then it was moved to Rampage due to travel issues. This was another story that we talked about here on Destination PW. So, again, if you're not subscribed, you guys probably should subscribe. This way you could get updates and all that good stuff. But nonetheless, a lot of people are suggesting that Andrade could be very unhappy in AEW because, as you know, social media is a marvelous thing, and this is a great way to indicate what's going on. Andrade liked a tweet. Somebody tagged Charlotte at WWE. Why did you let AEW put Andrade on Friday Night Heat? I mean Rampage. Laughing emoji. Now, you might be thinking like this is a reach or whatever it may be. But for Andrade to like this tweet, it says a lot. Because here's the thing. We don't actually hear a lot of negativity when it comes to people behind the scenes in AEW. But yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Like, Rampage is clearly the secondary show. Rampage is dropping in viewership, unfortunately. And I know that AEW's plan is to kind of keep it level-headed with Dynamite, but I just simply can't get over the fact that Rampage looks exactly like Dynamite. To me, the overall presentation of the show it looks like Dynamite 2.0, and Andrade's being moved to a match at 10 p.m., or at least on a show that starts at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's not, AEW is doing such a great job of capturing the younger audience. The younger audience is now watching AEW Dynamite on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. Especially as the country, and at least in the United States, the country is opening up. I can't really speak for the rest of the world, but, there's a lot of places, there's a lot of things you could do. There's no curfews. Like, you have the ability to go out, and that younger audience that AEW captures, let's just be frank, they're not watching wrestling. So, yeah, I kind of do look at it as like a bad thing for this match to be moved to Rampage. Keep in mind, this match was also pre-taped. This entire show is pre-taped. Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with it, but if Andrade is unhappy in AEW, maybe Andrade is the problem. I'm going to be blunt and I'm going to say it. I think Andrade was great in WWE, but for some reason people feel like he's underutilized. Now Andrade is in AEW, but when you have all of these debuts, you have Ruby Soho, CM Punk, right? You have Malachi Black, who's doing really big things and a prominent storyline. Keep in mind, you also have Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole. Now Andrade is starting to look like an afterthought. So as much as I'm enjoying the AEW product, you have to be you got to be straight up on it. You got to be straight up with it. Like, you cannot hide behind these opinions. You just got to acknowledge it. The cool thing is AEW pays attention to their fans. They pay attention to what's happening. There is a plan behind it. I'm pretty certain, without them even having to tell us this, AEW identified very quickly that when they brought in Miro, it was not working out. And that was largely due to their booking. Now, if you look at Miro, he's doing exactly what you want to see. So I have a strong feeling that AEW is identifying this quickly. They're fixing it, hopefully. But if not, you have to wonder, is Andrade truly unhappy in AEW? That's what I want to know. I guess time will tell. But for that, that whole thing, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys next time right here on Destination PW.